Good morning, my dear friends. I hope you all are doing great. So do I. So let us start our topic for today. We'll be dealing with classification of chemical equilibrium based on physical states of reactants and products. We have to see the physical states of reactants and products. Physical state here basically is solid, liquid, gas, aqueous. So we'll be looking into these things. Whether your reactants are solid, liquid, gas, or you have an aqueous state, my dear friends. Okay. So what we are going to do, we will classify the chemical equilibrium into two types. One is homogeneous chemical equilibrium and another one is heterogeneous chemical equilibrium. Everybody is aware about the fact that homo means identical. Or you can say it also means similar, or you can say it means same. Okay. Now look at the hetero, the term, it means different. Now our classification is based on the physical state. Our classification is based on the physical state of reactants and products. Now look at the homogeneous chemical equilibrium. See, these are my reactants here. These are my reactants and these are my products. Look at the physical state of reactants, gaseous and gaseous. So reactants are gaseous. Product is also gaseous. So my dear friends, homo basically means same, identical or similar. The reactants and products both are in identical state. And what is that identical state? Gaseous state. So this equilibrium will be called as homogeneous equilibrium. Now look here. These are your reactants, my dear friends. These two are your reactants. Like Fe plus P, thiocyanate. Okay. Now they give us a product. Okay. So look at this particular product here. This is in aqueous state and this is in aqueous state. This is in aqueous state. So your reactants are in aqueous state. And your product is also in aqueous state, my dear friends. Okay. So now what is my point? Okay. That is when your reactants and products are in the same state. Yes. So we call it as homogeneous chemical equilibrium, my dear friends. So when a chemical equilibrium is established between reactants and products, okay, present in the same physical state, okay, is said to be homogeneous chemical equilibrium, my dear friends. So I will write down chemical equilibrium established between reactants and products present in identical physical state. So my dear friends, what is your homogeneous chemical equilibrium? Your homogeneous chemical equilibrium is a chemical equilibrium established between reactants and products present in identical physical state. So here iron reacts with thiocyanate or thiocyanate, you can say, and I am getting a coordination compound here. These are my reactants and these are my products. Okay, my dear friends, reactants are in aqueous state and product is also in aqueous state. So reactants are aqueous, product is also aqueous. Let me mention here, product is also in aqueous state. So reactants and products are in the same state. So we will call this equilibrium as homogeneous chemical equilibrium. Now look here, your reactants are in which state? Gaseous state, and your product is also in gaseous state. That means this equilibrium will be also called as homogeneous chemical equilibrium. Let us come to the heterogeneous chemical equilibrium. Hetero basically means different. Okay. So here the physical state of reactants and products will be different. Now look here. If we look at the first example, we have the reactants here, my dear friends. Have a look. Look at the first reactant. This first reactant is in solid state. Second reactant is basically in the gaseous state. and the product is here in the solid state. Now you tell me, do you think the reactants and the products are present in the same state? No. Reactants are present in solid and gaseous state, and product is present in gaseous state only. That means reactants and products are not present in the same physical state. Correct? See, if these are solids and this is also a solid, then it's a homogeneous chemical equilibrium. But you can see here reactant, one reactant is solid, one reactant is gas, and product is what? Solid only. That means the reactants and products are not present in the same state, because some of the reactants are present in which state? Gaseous state also. Okay. So this kind of equilibrium will be heterogeneous chemical equilibrium. Now look here at this point. This is our reactant and this reactant is solid. Look at this reactant. This reactant is gaseous. And now look at the product. Product is gaseous. Now what is my point? Do you think that reactants and the products are in the same state? No, they are not. If you look at this reactant is gas, this reactant is gas. So they are in the same state. But what about this? This reactant is solid, but product is gas. That means reactants and products, they are not present in the same state. So that kind of equilibrium will be heterogeneous chemical equilibrium, my dear friends. So how can we define the heterogeneous chemical equilibrium? Let us write down the definition for this here. Okay, so have a look. So I will write down chemical equilibrium, okay, established between reactants and products present in different physical states. So my dear friends, the heterogeneous chemical equilibrium is the chemical equilibrium established between reactants and products present in different physical states. Look at them. Reactants are in solid and gaseous state, and product is in solid state. Okay, so this is a heterogeneous chemical equilibrium. Now look here, if your reactants are liquid, product is also liquid, so homogeneous chemical equilibrium is established. If your reactants are solid, product is also solid, homogeneous chemical equilibrium will be established. If your reactants are aqueous, product is also aqueous, homogeneous chemical equilibrium will be established. But if your reactants are in solid state and products are in gaseous state, then that is the heterogeneous chemical equilibrium. Now if your reactants are solid and liquid and product is solid, that means it is again the heterogeneous chemical equilibrium. So obviously my dear friends, I hope you have gotten the information that what is homogeneous and what is heterogeneous chemical equilibrium and how they are established right out here. Okay, please make note of this. Dear students, let's learn few key points first. Okay, have a look. Molar concentrations of pure solids and pure liquids are taken as constant or unity, that is 1. While writing equilibrium constant expression, when you write down equilibrium constant expression like Kc, you have to take on the molar concentration of what? Pure solids and pure liquids as constant, or we can say 1. So equilibrium constant expression here I am talking about Kc, my dear friends. So have a look. Why is it so? We have to answer it. Why we are taking it as constant? So let's write down the reason here. Let's take on molar concentration. Molar concentration of pure solid, or I can take pure liquid. We know that it's equal to number of moles per unit volume, N upon V. Okay. So let us suppose, let us suppose this N is changing, so its variable number of moles will change. And here also when the number of moles of solid will change or liquid will change, then the value will also change. Let us suppose this is the solid with me. Let's suppose this is the solid, this marker. If this solid is changing, yes, if its quantity is changing, amount is changing, then the value occupied by it will also change. So obviously the variable, n is the variable and v is also variable here. Value is also changing. Correct? So when we look into this expression, let us suppose, okay, let us suppose we have n as, let's suppose 2 moles. Okay? And now if you look at the value, 2 moles of solid or 2 moles of liquid are occupying, let us suppose 1 liter of value. Okay? So this is basically the molar concentration of either your solid or your pure liquid. So I have supposed, let us suppose we have 2 moles of solid or liquid divided by the value occupied by solid or liquid, correct? So what happens? After some time, if that solid is your reactant or liquid is your reactant, it will change into product. So its concentration will decrease. So obviously 2 moles will change into lesser quantity. Let us suppose your pure solid or pure liquid, they are reactants. Then they will change into products. As they change into products, what will happen? The quantity of that solid or liquid will decrease. When the quantity or the number of moles of solid or liquid will decrease, then the value will also decrease according to that. So let us suppose 2 moles have changed into, okay? In a chemical reaction, the 2 moles have changed into, let us suppose 1 mole. Okay? And value has also decreased, my dear friends. The value has decreased to 0.5 liters. Yes, I know. Now you look here. At beginning, if you see, what is this value all about? This is 2. Okay? 2 upon 1 is 2 only. Okay? And what about this expression? This is also equal to 2. That means the molar concentration of pure solid or pure liquid has remained the constant. What was the term? 2. That n by V. N by V is molar concentration. How much was that? 2. And now after, some of the solid or some of the liquid has changed into the product. Let us suppose this solid and this liquid is your reactant and it has changed into product. Let us suppose. Then 2 moles have decreased to 1 mole and value has decreased from 1 liter to 0.5 liter. And what is the value of here? N by V value 2. What is the N by V value here? 2. That means the molar concentration of what? Pure solid or pure liquid has remained what? Constant, my dear friends. So I hope you have understood this particular expression. Now look here. If you have now gas, molar concentration of gas does not remain constant. It remains constant only for pure solids and pure liquids. Let us take on one gas. Okay. Let's take one gas. Okay. Here I will tell you molar concentration of gas. Okay. Does not remain constant. Correct? So have a look. This is also equal to N by V. And remember, here V is fixed, it's not variable. Why it's fixed? Why the value occupied by the gas is fixed? Because, remember, gas will occupy all the available value of a container. Okay, so value of container will be the value of gas, that is fixed. So my dear friends, when we take on molar concentration of a gas, it's also equal to N upon V. But here in this case, V was variable, it was changing. Concentration of solid or liquid was decreasing, value was also decreasing. Yes? Here, when the number of moles of gas will decrease, but value will not change, because here we have a gas. And remember, volume of gas is fixed. That means gas will occupy all the available volume of a container. If gas is present in a particular container, okay, whether gas is little or more, it will always occupy the entire volume. So volume of the container will be equal to the value of the gas. And volume of container is fixed. So volume of gas is also fixed. Whether you have a small amount of gas with you or you have a large amount of gas with you. If you put it into a particular container, okay, it will occupy the entire volume of the container. So remember, volume of container will be equal to volume of the gas. But it is not true with solids and liquids. If you put solid or liquid in a particular container, little amount of solid or little amount of liquid, that little amount of solid or little amount of liquid will occupy some small space in the container. But if you put a little amount of gas in a container, that little gas can occupy the entire volume of the container. That means, in case of gases, the volume of container will be equal to the volume of gas. So volume of container is fixed. So obviously the volume of gas is also fixed. So this term is fixed here, but this term is variable. Number of moles of gas will change. Number of moles of the gas will decrease, but volume is fixed because volume of gas is equal to volume of the container. Correct? So this is fixed. But when some amount of gas will change into product, okay, then the concentration or the number of moles of the gas will what? Decrease. When this N factor is decreasing, but V factor is constant, then the overall there will be a decrease. Let us suppose now. Suppose we have 2 moles of gas. 2 moles of gas in 1 liter of container. Let's suppose container is having a value of 1 liter, or maybe the container is having the value of let's suppose 2 liters. Okay. What happens? What is the value of N by V here? And you know that this 2 liters will be fixed value, correct? Now value of this is 1. So 2 by 2 is 1, correct? So this 1 is nothing but it's your molar concentration. And molar concentration is taken, remember always, mole per liter. It will be mole per liter, okay? That's the unit of this. Like here also you can write down mole per liter, and here also mole per liter. Yes. So what is my important point here? This N is variable. So this guy will change. Let us suppose it has changed into 1 mole. Yes? And this 1 mole of gas will still occupy 2 liters of volume. This 1 mole of gas and 2 moles of gas, both will occupy the same value. Because for gas, the value of gas will be equal to the value of container. So this 2 will be fixed here also. This is the value of the container, correct? So now look here. What is the expression here, my dear friends? Here I will get the value of 0.5. This is mole per liter. And this is 0.5 mole per liter. Because N is measured in moles and value in liters. So now look here, my dear friends, in case of a gas. N by V value. In first case I got 1 mole per liter. Yes. In second case I got 0.5 mole per liter. But in case of pure solids or pure liquids, both things were variable, N and V both were variable. So I got here 2 moles per liter, and here also I got 2 moles per liter as the molar concentration. So molar concentration of pure solids and pure liquids is constant here. Just guys, you look here, the molar concentration of gas does not remain constant. Have a look. The value was fixed because value of gas is equal to the value of container. So this is fixed. So we have 2 liters here and 2 liters here. And if you consider that your gas is a reactant, let us suppose, it will change into the product. So its concentration will decrease. How many moles of gas you have here? 2 moles. And how many moles you have here? 1 mole. That means 1 mole has changed into the products, let us suppose. Okay? So 1 mole of reactant has changed into the products. Okay? Now this N factor is changing. 2 moles to 1 mole. It's decreasing. So n factor is decreasing from 2 moles to 1 mole. Okay? So this is initial state and this is final state, let us suppose. So now overall value is 1 mole per liter and here the overall value is 0.5 mole per liter. So here the concentration and here the concentration both are different. That means the concentration of gases does not remain same. Okay? It changes, but the molar concentration of solid or liquid does remain the same because these both factors are changing, both are variable. You have an initial state 2 moles of solid or liquid. Okay, then out of 2 moles, 1 mole is changing into what? Products, let us suppose. And you have only now 1 mole of a particular solid or liquid. And value is also changing. Yes, with respect to solids and liquids, value is also changing. So finally, what was the molar concentration? 2 mole per liter. What was the molar concentration? 2 mole per liter. So in simple terms now, you remember that the molar concentration of pure solids and pure liquids remain constant. But in case of gases, it does not remain constant, my dear friends. So please remember that. So dear friends, now you have learned that molar concentration in case of pure solids and pure liquids is constant. That's unity. Unity means equal to 1. But if you look at in case of gases, this was not constant. But value was fixed. Number of moles were changing, but value was fixed. Apart from gases also, aqueous substance. Okay, in any substance in aqueous form, okay, it's not constant. So molar concentration for gases and for the aqueous substance is not constant. Okay, because here in aqueous solution also what happens? Value of the solution will be constant. In gases, the value of container will be the constant, my dear friends. So it is not constant actually. Values are constant, but number of moles are changing, my dear friends. Here the number of solute particles will change. Okay, and here the number of the gaseous molecules will change. So this is not constant, please remember this thing. And second factor about the pressure. If you look at partial pressure, okay, have a look here. Partial pressure exerted by gas is significant. Significant means important. It has a greater value. Gases will exert very, very high pressure. Right up. So I will write down partial pressure exerted by gases is significant, important. Now if you look at partial pressure exerted by solids and liquids is insignificant. That means they do not exert much pressure. Partial pressure exerted by solids and liquids is insignificant. Insignificant means basically negligible. So it will not be considered. Whenever you are writing Kp, partial pressure of products divided by partial pressure of reactants, at that time you should consider only the partial pressure of gases, but don't consider the partial pressure of solids and liquids because it's insignificant. They do not exert much pressure, my dear friends. So with these points, we will try to write down Kp and Kc value by taking an example of homogeneous chemical equilibrium and heterogeneous chemical equilibrium, my dear friends. Please make note of this. So dear friends, let us learn Kc and Kp expressions, my dear friends. Let me just take on one reaction here. N2 gaseous plus 3 times H2 gaseous will give me 2 times NH3 gas. Remember here the product and here the reactant are in same state. Reactants are in gaseous state and product is also in gaseous state. So this is an example of a homogeneous chemical equilibrium we have here. So this is an example of homogeneous chemical equilibrium. But for this homogeneous chemical equilibrium state, I will write down Kc and Kp. This is the equilibrium constant in terms of molar concentration, and this is the equilibrium constant in terms of partial pressures, my dear friends. Okay? And remember, for partial pressures you need gas. Solid and liquid will not exert the pressure. Remember that thing. Okay? If you have here solids only, or if you have here liquids only, yes, or if you have an aqueous state, then there is no concept of a pressure. Yes, then you cannot take Kp expression. But do you know that these are all gases, so I can take Kp expression also and Kc expression also. Let's write down Kc expression for this. Molar concentration of products raised power 2 divided by molar concentration of reactants, that is N2 into H2 raised power 1 and raised power 3. This is the expression for the equilibrium constant in terms of molar concentrations. Let us write down for this reaction Kp. For this reaction, let us write down Kp. Kp will be equal to partial pressure of products. So partial pressure of products. What is your product? NH3 raised power 2 divided by partial pressure of reactants. What is your reactant? N2. Okay, into partial pressure of H2 raised power 3 raised power 1. So this is Kp expression, my dear friends. Now let us see the relationship between Kp and Kc, my dear friends. You know that last time we know that Kp is equal to Kc RT to the power delta N gaseous. So let us calculate first of all delta N gaseous here. How many moles of products you have? So number of moles of product in gaseous state minus number of moles of reactants in gaseous state. So number of moles of products we have 2 and gas reactants we have 4. So it's minus 2. So delta N is minus 2. So I will have Kp is equal to Kc RT to the power delta N is minus 2, my dear friends. So this is the expression, my dear friends. So Kp is equal to Kc RT to the power minus 2. And you know that already that I can write down this expression like this also. Kp is equal to Kc divided by RT raised power 2. Because if I take this expression down, it will become RT to the power 2. So what happens here? Have a look. Kp will become equal to Kc only when Kc is divided by this term. Are you following my point or not? Let us suppose this Kp is 100. Try to understand. And this Kc is, let us suppose, 200. Then this RT raised power 2 should be how much? Let's suppose it's 2. Now, my dear friends, if I remove this term, if I make it invisible, now you look who is greater. Kp is greater or Kc is greater? Which one is greater? Kc is greater, Kc is 200 and Kp is 100. Okay? Now look here. Now they will become equal. 200 divided by 2 is 100. Now they will become equal. But if somebody will tell you that in this case, okay, who is greater? Is it Kc greater or Kp greater? Kc is greater. Just hide it. 200 and this is 100. So this is just an example. Try to understand. But when I remove it, then these two terms, 200 divided by 2 becomes 100, so they will become equal. Individually, Kc is greater than Kp. So here, my dear friends, okay, this is supposed value. Don't think it's a real value, it's a supposed value. So you got to know that Kp was 100 and Kc was 200. Okay, so Kp is less than Kc. When delta N is minus. Don't say that minus 2 or something, just minus. When delta N gaseous is less than 0, which means negative. Already we have done this particular thing. So please make note of this. Let's take one more equation here. Calcium oxide solid plus carbon dioxide gas interacts and gives me calcium carbonate, which is solid, my dear friends. You know that here reactants are solid and gas, and product is here solid. Do you think that reactants and products are in same physical state? No. So this is your heterogeneous chemical equilibrium. So this equation is at heterogeneous chemical equilibrium. So let's write down Kc and Kp value for this, my dear friends. Have a look. If you look at this, these are our reactants and these are our products. Correct? So what is the Kc value? Molar concentration of product, calcium carbonate, that is solid, divided by molar concentration of reactants. Calcium oxide, it is solid, into CO2. CO2 is gas. My dear friends, I told you, just in previous key concepts, I have told you that molar concentration of solid or molar concentration of pure liquid are constant. They are taken as unity. Unity means 1. That I have already told you. Molar concentration of pure solid. Here I don't have liquid, so I will mention only solid and solid here. So pure solid is taken constant, and that constant is nothing but it's taken as unity. Unity means 1. So in place of this I can use 1, and in place of this solid also I can use 1. So 1 and 1 term, unity, constant term. So what is my expression here, my dear friends? So this calcium carbonate is a solid. So molar concentration of pure solid, okay? Or you can also write down pure liquid. But here we don't have a liquid, so don't worry. Focus on pure solid. So molar concentration of calcium carbonate, which is solid, will be taken as 1. So it's constant, taken as unity. And molar concentration of calcium oxide will be also taken as unity. So this is 1 and this will also become 1. So the overall thing will be Kc is equal to 1 upon 1 into CO2 gaseous. And remember always one thing, my dear friends, molar concentration of gas is not constant. I have already showed you. Molar concentration of solid and liquid, what is that? Constant. But molar concentration of gas and aqueous state is not constant, my dear friends. You have already learned it. So obviously for gas it's not constant, so it's not unity. So finally, what is the expression, my dear friends? Which expression you have? Finally you have 1 upon molar concentration of carbon dioxide gas. So that's your expression. Now if you look at now Kp, let's write down Kp expression for the same reaction. So it should be the partial pressure of what? Products divided by partial pressure of reactants. But here the product is solid. So before writing Kp, I will mention you here, okay, partial pressure is significant only in case of gases, okay. So partial pressure is significant only in case of gases. I have told you, gases will only exert large pressure, large amount of pressure. So it's significant, important. But I also told you, pressure exerted by what? Pressure exerted by liquids or solids is insignificant, means not important. Is insignificant. So my dear friends, I will write down now Kp expression for the same reaction, my dear friends, and with this information we can write it down. So let's have a look here. So let us take on Kp expression here now. Kp is equal to, my dear friends, it has to be the partial pressure of solids. But remember, the partial pressure of solids is insignificant. Okay? So even the partial pressure of this solid reactant will be also insignificant. So obviously what will happen? If you try to write down partial pressure due to calcium carbonate solid, let us suppose, divided by partial pressure due to calcium oxide solid into partial pressure due to carbon dioxide gas. This term will be insignificant because it's solid, and this term will also become insignificant because it's also solid. So finally, this is significant term. Pressure due to gas is important, means they will exert high pressure. In case of solids and liquids, the pressure is insignificant, my dear friends. So this is only the significant term. So finally I will get 1 upon partial pressure due to carbon dioxide gas. So finally my Kp expression will be equal to 1 upon PCO2 gas. Yes? So this is the expression what you have to look for. Okay? Please make note of this. Dear students, let's take on Kc and Kp value with respect to this chemical reaction which is at equilibrium, and this is heterogeneous chemical equilibrium because reactants and products are not present in the same physical state. So heterogeneous chemical equilibrium. Let's take on now here Kc value. Kc is the molar concentration of the gas here and CO 4 times. So this is the molar concentration of the product divided by the molar concentration of the reactants. Okay, and we know, my dear friends, this Kc is basically equal to products divided by reactants, molar concentration of products divided by molar concentration of reactants. And you know that for solids and liquids, molar concentration for solids and for liquids is taken as constant or taken as 1. So for this substance we have to take molar concentration as 1. But for the substances like gases and for the aqueous, yes I know, it is not taken as constant or not taken as 1. So please remember this particular thing. I have already told you this thing. So molar concentration of gas will not be taken as 1. So overall what remains here? CO 4 times upon CO gaseous, just a minute, raised power 4. So this is the final expression of Kc, my dear friends. For solids, the molar concentration should be taken as 1, but the molar concentration of gas or the aqueous state should not be taken as constant. Okay, I have told you already why. Let's write down now Kp value for this equation. Kp. Okay. While before writing Kp value, you should also know that partial pressure due to gas is significant. But pressure due to solid or liquid, yes or no, is insignificant. Okay, my dear friends. So let us take the Kp value for the same. Kp is equal to partial pressure of the product, partial pressure of NiCO 4 times, and obviously this guy is in gaseous state, okay, divided by partial pressure due to Ni, which is in solid state, into partial pressure due to CO, which is in gaseous state. This is insignificant. Pressure due to nickel is in solid state, so it's insignificant. So it is negligible or you can neglect it. So not required. So remove this thing. So you will be getting partial pressure due to NiCO 4 times, which is in a gaseous state, divided by partial pressure due to CO, which is also in a gaseous state, raised power 4. So this is your final expression for the partial pressure. Okay? Kp. That is partial pressure, equilibrium constant in terms of partial pressure. So this is the equilibrium constant in terms of molar concentration. These terms you have to remember, and you have to remember these terms also. So you can write down for any chemical equation Kc and Kp values, my dear friends. Please make note of this. So dear friends, let's take one more example. Here the reactant, if you look, one reactant is solid and one reactant is aqueous. See here one product is aqueous and one product is liquid. So my dear friends, this is an example of obviously heterogeneous equilibrium. So this is an example of heterogeneous equilibrium. Let us write down Kc and Kp expression for this. If I talk about Kc expression, that is molar concentration of products divided by molar concentration of reactants. AgNO3, that is aqueous, raised power 2, into H2O, which is liquid, raised power 1, divided by Ag2O, which is solid basically, raised power 1, into HNO3, which is basically aqueous, aqueous raised power 2. So my dear friends, when we talk of Kc, this thing you are already aware: solid, liquid, constant. Gas and aqueous are not constant. When solid, liquid are constant, that means that is one unity equal to 1. So this is your solid, its value will be 1. Okay, this is your liquid, pure liquid, its value will be 1. But aqueous, if you look at gas and aqueous state, they are not constant. But solid and liquid are constant, equal to 1. Gas and aqueous are not constant. So this is aqueous, so it's not constant. So they will remain there. These two terms will become, this will become 1 and this will also become 1. So obviously I will be here with AgNO3, okay, aqueous raised power 2 divided by HNO3 aqueous raised power 2. So that is the final expression for your Kc, my dear friends. I have neglected the liquid and the solid. Their molar concentrations are taken as one unit. So dear friends, this was all for today. Tomorrow we will be looking into the application of equilibrium constant, my dear friends. Okay, catch you tomorrow. Yo-yo.